Hello friends, my name is Shivam from Devops Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So let's get started. So we are going to learn how to analyze machine data with Splunk, correct? So what we're going to learn about this from this session. So we're going to learn about the Splunk. What is Splunk? How Splunk works? What are the benefit of Splunk? We're going to understand the component of Splunk, how to install it, how to feed the data into the Splunk, some of the basic searches, knowing about the fields, best practices, SPL languages, transforming commands, reports, dashboard, alerts, pivot, datasets, and many more. Okay, so as part of these sessions, we are going to learn all these topics. Okay, so what are the prerequisite for this? The prerequisite for this is just you need to be a little bit knowing about Windows administration, basics of it, and the Linux administration. You should be very familiar with the Windows and Linux environment, and so on. Now, what are you going to do about this in this session? So we are going to analyze the logs. Simple, analyze the log. Now, most of the time, what happens? Like many time we say, okay, uh, we do not do that. We do not analyze the log, and some of the reasons what we have here is like, okay, our hosting platforms give me the all the statistics about transactions and number of requests, number of response, and many things. All the operations related stuff which I get it. So that's more than sufficient. So why to spend more amount of time and energy on the analyzing the data, the logs? What we get it? So this is basically common mistake. Many organization, many projects, what they do in the world of internet and computing. So here. Many times what we also experience, like, okay, there's enough money, that means the product company is very popular, very powerful, have lots of budget, lots of funding, and they tend to avoid that log monitoring, because they think, okay, we will have some of the best tools to monitor the infrastructure, and they do not focus on the log monitoring. So that way, again, it can be a huge mistake. Even the bigger mistake is like, I do not have a time. So many people say we do not have a time, so we do not do the log analysis. We are busy in the production, we are busy in the dev, we are busy in QA, we are busy in operations. We don't have time for that to analyze the log, and suddenly system failed. Now system failed, and sometimes the reason is completely not traceable. Why it got failed, where is the problem, how can we solve it, and all this stuff. So now maybe the security issue, someone has hacked your system. Now getting the scenarios of where the system has been compromised is very difficult. uh, uh, when we have an application in a distributed environment, we know that nowadays in the world of containers right now, we are not running one application in one particular machines or one particular cluster. It is across the cluster, across the machines, across the server, across the data centers, actually, to serve and to get the one request and response done. So yep, we need to know where is the problem, and how can we resolve it, and we need to trace it, like what are the breach which we have got it. So now these are the scenarios where you need help in terms of find out the trace that all the issues which you are going through. So you need help, and to avoid any huge mistake in a software runtime environment. So you have to get into the log analysis, because Log analysis is the only one way. Using that, you can find out the behavior of applications, and you can analyze the log and predict the kind of operations which you have, and then accordingly you can take action. And this is the one of the safest and fastest way to find out the possible runtime issues. It may be security issues into the system. So now the question is, it's not about the log analysis. The question is, what is log? What is log? Because we understand the log, and then we can understand about log analysis. So when we look at the log, log is nothing but records related to whatever activities occurring on an information system. So it is a record, and it can be anything, any activities which is happening. So such as alerts, event log, alarm log, message records, anything, you can call it anything as such. So this is a log, this is a record related to whatever activities occurring in information systems. Information systems, when I say, it can be networking devices, it can be compute devices, it can be anything, data centers, applications, database servers. So it can be anything. That's a log. It generate records. So yep. So where do we have it? Where do we have it? So I just said any component which is a part of the information system will generate a log. So now here, machine data, a log, is everywhere. In fact, you are generating right now. Yes, you are connected with the internet. You are running some applications. It must be running. So you're running operating system, right? You are running applications. You are running GoToMeeting. You are running WhatsApp. You are running any application is generating some sort of log. So you are generating everywhere, every time, and that's what it is. So here you can generate the different source of data. There's a different data sources for log, such as firewall, IPs, anti-malware, proxies, network infrastructure, servers, databases, application, could be anywhere. Everywhere you're generating logs for this. Now, so data generated by machines, computer processing, and application sensor data, that is called machine data or log. Okay, and that is what we are going to analyze today, right? So some of the components which you'd like to know where we can get the log. So yes, it's Linux log, Windows log. You may have a logs in the log files, access log, file system logs written by server or workstation logs. Now network, firewalls, warnings, alerts, and IP addresses. These are the logs which you have. Different kind of network logs we may have. Database log, which includes audit log, configuration log, schemas log, table log, queries log. So these are the logs which our database will generate. Web transaction logs. So you do any transaction on the web, log in, log out, browsing any website. You click on the website, from the location, browser, time, everything is generating a log. Web log, Devops log. So test logs, log4j alerts, event log, code check-in logs. You want to know who has checked in, the what time he has checked in, what he did it. Checked in, when I said did, I'm talking the gate actually. So what time he has checked in, what he did, from which location he has checked in, whether that location is from China or not. Correct? So you want to find it out, all this information, right? This logs, IoT logs. You know that we all are connected now through IoT devices such as cars, refrigerator, smart TVs, right? GPS, RFID, biometric, temperature, limitless. So IoTs are limitless. Still, is a gaining momentum right now. So everywhere, every device is generating a logs. So now the question is, you need to analyze it, but the question is, why do we need to analyze it? So you need to analyze it because of the production monitoring and debugging. Yes, logs, more than 95% of the scenarios which we have experienced is we do them in the production. So we want to analyze the log because we want to monitor the production servers. infrastructure, environment, applications, runtime, network, and stuff like that. We want to debug the productions without impacting the application, without having even a single second of downtime. So we do not want to touch the applications. Rather, we want to analyze the log. We want to check the resource uses also. We want to check the web errors, HTTP errors. We want to check in the database slow queries. Which queries are slow? Why it is slow? What is the reason behind this? We want to find out the root cause for it. Rogue automated robots, whether our system has been compromised and doing some sort of transactions or operations which is not known to anyone. So you have in the logs and security issues. So in the today's world, analyzing the log is very important. Having seen and experienced the application run we are running in the world of internet, we all are connected here and there, one way another way. So we know that. So yep, it's important to analyze the log. Another way which you can trace it, like tracking your website performance and visitors. Okay, sites and platform visitors. You want to track each and every visitors, what they are doing, what kind of operations they are doing, from where they are accessing, which browser they are using. uh, is it the safe to them to access? Are they accessing beyond their your limit and threshold set? Is there any sort of some hacking activities happening? So everything will be written in the logs. Okay, you're going to find out the situational awareness and new threat discoveries, getting more values. If you are trying to analyze the log, you're getting a more values out of network and security infrastructure. And again, you can extract what is really actionable automatically. That means a lot of things and a lot of information you have in log, and you can extract the things which you can take, you can take action on it. You can measure the securities such as metrics, trends, etc. as well. Compliance and regulations, you can, an incident response, last but not least. So yeah, these are the some of the reasons. So you need a log analysis. Okay, we need a log analysis. Okay, so yes, we have tried to understand what is a log, what is a record, which are the different sources we generate a logs, and then third topic is why it's important. Why it's important. So guys, are we understanding this? Any questions, any doubts? Did we understand that what is a log, the sources of log, and why we are analyzing it?
Yeah, yeah, Rajesh.
Okay, now next question is, okay, fine, we got so much of log, but what to look into the logs? Because you don't have one record. You don't have 100 records, you don't have 1,000 records, you have millions of records, and generated by different sources, right? Applications, system, network, devices, this, that. So what do you want to look into the logs? This is something you have to decide. No one can tell you what you want to look for, because you are the one who's have the requirement to analyze the logs. You have to decide what kind of information you want to get it from your applications, what kind of information you want to get it from your database logs, in machine logs, OS logs, network logs, device log. You want to decide. But some of the things which we typically look for, just for understanding purpose to begin with, in a Splunk, in the log analysis, is like, okay, we want to know who has changed the password changes. We want to know, do we have any unauthorized logins? Someone is trying to log in. Do we have any failures, login failures? So are we having any login failures in our system? We want to find out, okay, how many login failures? Are they having such patterns? What is the source of request for the login failures? Are they running some robots and trying to log in with some random password and try to sig into the system? right? So you're going to take up a call, okay? New login events, malware detections, malware attacks seen by IDs or other evidence. Scan on your firewall open and closed port. Denial, DDoS, denial of service attacks. Errors on network devices. File name changes. If some file has got changed, so it is been system log, you'll be having that. File integrity changes you're going to check. Data exported, new process started or running. Everything you have in log. Process got stopped. Why it got stopped? Okay, shared access events, disconnected events, new service installations, file auditing, new user accounts, modifying the HTTP value. So you may decide which kind of things you want. So for that, you need to understand system well, you need to understand application well, you need to understand the need to working well. So you should know what kind of information you need it from the log, because you have a log and every seconds it's generating, every time it's generating. Okay, so yes, what to look for in log. So whenever you search something, you analyze the data first and then decide what to look for it. You may look for anything as such, some of the things which I have mentioned here. So guys, did you understand that what you want to search in the logs?
Yeah,
What
right.
do you
Yeah.
want to analyze? Okay,
Yes.
so now there are some of the common fields you will find in the every log. Okay, common field I'm saying. You may find another fields also, but some of the common field you will find in the every log. And one of the common field is time. Time is the one of the main fields you'll get in every logs. And even though the time is not there, Splunk will add it, the timestamp, okay, from their side also, the time of indexing. I'll talk about that. So here, source, from where it is coming from, destination, protocol, ports, username, event, attached type, or byte exchange. So these are some of the common field you will come across in the every log data. Now, what are the best practices for log analysis? So whenever we say, okay, you want to start the log analysis, okay, fine. So what are you going to do about it? Just guys, give me 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Sorry about that. Someone was knocking my door, so I'm alone in home, so I had to check. Okay, so best practices for log analysis. Best practices of log analysis. So you understand that okay, what is a log? You understand what are the various sources of log. You understand also the various the advantages of log analysis, right? Now you are also understand that why log analysis is important and what to look for in the logs. Now the question is, when you do the log analysis, what you want to, I mean, what are the practices you want to follow? What are the practices you want to follow? So this is something which we call it a best practices for log analysis. Okay, so you're going to analyze pattern detection and recognize. So to filter the message based on the pattern book. Okay, so pattern is very important. Okay, so you're going to detect the pattern and recognize and then to trace that log. You're going to also do the normalization of the data also. Okay, for example, normalizations, when I say to convert the different log elements such as dates to the same format. See, we are a different we have a different time zone, right? So when you access the same data from the India server, different time format will be there, and if you access the same data, same website from US location, US browser, then it'll be having different timestamp, different region, different time zone, right? So when you want to store it at some place, you can't have so much of different pattern, because the when you search, when you analyze the data, you might not get the right results, right? So that is where we need to normalize the data. So that is important. You need to do the tagging and classifications also. Now the question is, what is tagging? Tagging is a way to correlate the common data for the specific purpose. So to tag log element with the keyword and categorize them into the number of classes, so you can filter and adjust the way you display your data. So that way it's become easier. One of the best practices, we have a correlation analysis. What is a correlation analysis? That it's something like the data has been generated at the different source. Simple analysis I would like to give it to you here is like, let's say you do some sort of transaction on flipkart.com, correct? Now you do the buying stuff in the Flipkart, but for the payment they take you to the different website, right? Payment gateway, some banking website, and from there it comes. So again, if you look at the Flipkart also, they have a distributed setup. It's not everything is running on a machine, right? Everything is running in the different machine, and then some third party gateways also. So now you logged in, then you added some product to catalog, and then uh, you start the selected the address, you started buying the product, and then after the buying the product you make a payment. So here if you look at this, your click event itself, you might have clicked 20 times different form. Now each click will generate one record, one log. Now how can you correlate this? All the record is a part of one transaction. So this is basically, this process is being called as a correlation analysis. So yes, this all transaction which you have done it is a part of this, all this log which you have generated at the different sources, it's part of the one transaction, and that way you can correlate that. That's called correlation analysis. So yes, I just suggest to collect log from different sources and system and sort meaningful messages that pertain to particular event. This help discovers the connection between the data not visible to single log. So like that. So you can also, for instance, if you have just experienced a cyber attack, correlation analysis would put together the file, put together logs generated by your server, firewall, network devices, other sources, to find out the messages that are relevant to your particular attack. So for example, you've been attacked, let's say. So it's not attacked to your only application server or one machine. It may have been attacked to the multiple server at the same time. So how can you correlate all this and trace those attacks and changes which was made by them, and then you can do some actions on it. So this is basically one of the best practices for log analysis. So did you understand this correlation analysis?
Yeah.
It's Rajesh.
Yeah. Now, fourth practice what we have is artificial ignorance. What is artificial ignorance? Ignorance. So basically here we generate a hell lot of data, billions of record within you say 5 minutes of time. Now the question is, when you have so much of data, not all the data is relevant to you. So we need some sort of practices, best practices, so we can ignore the data which is not valued to us, and artificially there should not be any burden on us to ignore those data. So yes, machine learning process to identify. So our tool should be very intelligent. Okay, tool should be very intelligent to identify, ignore the log entries that are not useful, and detect anomalies. Okay, so anomalies means, what is anomalies means, let's say there's a pattern, and there's 100 logs, 99 logs are generic logs, and which is which you want to ignore it. But suddenly in between some anomalies has come, so like that log that is a little bit different from others. Okay, let's say I'll tell you in this time, when you see login activities from a different user, this is called the regular pattern. People come to your website and log in, that's a regular pattern, right? But when you see the login is happening from only one machine multiple times, then this is called anomalies, because you're not logging one time but you're logging to multiple times. So it may be it's some sort of attack is being manufactured, right? Are you getting the meaning of anomalies? So you have to ignore the normal login activities, but you have to also your tool should be detecting the anomalies actually, and to find out, okay, the login has happened. That's also is a good thing, but there's multiple login happening from the same IP address, so maybe something is wrong. Are you understanding this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are some of the best practices for the log analysis, and tool should help you to get this done, including your languages and stuff like that which you use in the tool. So yes, pattern detection and recognition, normalization, tagging, classification, correlation analysis, and artificial ignorance. So these are the bracket, these are the component, these are the phases you can say, which is a well established phases for the log analysis. First, when you create a log analysis system, when you set up a log analysis system, you have to collect the data from the different sources, collection of log data. Then second phase, you have to clean the data. Then third phase, you have to convert the data into structured form, so your search will be very faster. Okay, and then you have to analyze the data and then get the results and display to the concerned person or take actions on it. So these are the popular phases typically we should do in order to analyze the log. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
So guys, you're going to do generate, collect, aggregate, normalize, alert, store, summarize, make conclusion, and act on them. So here, which are the tools which we have in the log analysis? So many tools. We have a Splunk, Greylog, Sumo Logs, IO, and ELK stack. ELK means Elasticsearch. So there are many tools are available for this domain log analysis. Splunk is one of the pioneer and leading tool in this category, and today we are going to spend time on the Splunk. So here, Splunk also breaking the silos when we work under the DevOps with the different team, such as service desk to application support. I'm talking about the runtime environment, production, remember. So service desk, application support, application developer, system administrator, application developer, again, and database administration. So everyone wants to trace the log, where service desk need a log call. Console says everything's green. Application supports need a Java monitoring tool. Don't show up anything either. Called developer. Application developers also need some sort of log where you are saying, okay, stop working on the new code to troubleshoot, need production logs and stuff like that. So every team needs some sort of log, and Splunk breaking the silos and connecting every team, so team can work together at the one tool and find out the issues for each other. So that is a thing. So why to learn Splunk? There are some other reasons also. So Splunk, the skill set which you're going to gain is one of the most high demanding skill set in the whole world right now. So that's one of the reason actually. Again, the kind of data which we are generating are too much. Look at the world of internet, how we are connected with each other day and night. We're running uh, consuming the internet and applications and stuff like that. So huge amount of data we are generating as part of small runtime environment, production runtime environment. And because of that, we generate huge amount of logs. We have to process it. We have to analyze it. We have to take some actions on, and we have to take some decisions on them. So that's one of the reasons you need a Splunk. Okay, 70% of the Fortune 500 companies are using Splunk. That's one of the reasons you should also consider Splunk. It also gives you the new insight about the application, system, and data which you were not realizing earlier. So you'll get to know lots of new things about the how system works, how system is behaving. Okay.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan, and grow your skills immensely.
And again, Splunk community is one of the most powerful community in terms of this domain, and it's growing. Lots of community activities happening around the Splunk. So that's one more thing. And on top of that is a fun doing and spending time with this tool. Okay, so there are some reasons why we should spend time to learn this. Again, who should be using this tool? More or less anyone who wants to analyze their logs from the different sources. But typically people from the DevOps community and data analyst team, they use this tool for the analyze their logs at the vast amount. So yes, this is the one. Huge better, I mean, you find lots of career advantage also in terms of Splunk. And one of the most important reason which we have here is security. So guys, you know that no, I don't have to tell you like how this domain is growing and all. We all know that security is one of the fastest growing sector in IT, and Splunk can help you to secure your platform much before that your anything bad happens to your uh, runtime environment production. So yes, security is one of the fastest growing, and Splunk can do that. IoT is one of the new domain which is coming and rapidly growing. You know that smart homes, smart cars, smart TV, smart devices, smart workstation, everything is being smart. So, and everyone is connected with the internet. Everything is connected with the internet, right? So IoT is going to be, you know, big uh, domain, and different devices, different applications, worldwide internet will be connected to the worldwide internet, world wide web, and generating huge amount of data from the millions of devices connected to those applications. And we need to analyze lots of things. So IoT is one of the things. So Splunk can handle it, all this stuff, and that is where we are going to spend time with. So yes, I'm going to teach you what is Splunk, how does Splunk work, how is Splunk deployed, apps, and many other things. Make sense, guys? Make
Yeah,
sense?
Rajesh.
Okay, so what is Splunk now? So basically, Splunk is a kind of tool which gives you everything. Yeah. So you can, whatever the, you know, phases of log analysis, whatever we have learned last time, it gives you everything. It can help you to aggregate, analyze, and get answer from your data or from your machine data in terms of application management, operation management, security and compliance, and many more at one place. So yes, Splunk can index data. You can search and investigate. You can add a knowledge, whatever you have learned on a Splunk itself. Monitor and alerting, reports and analyze. Everything you can get it at one platform. That's called Splunk. Okay. Whereas if you compare Splunk with ELK stack, ELK has a multiple component. You have to like Elasticsearch, Beats, Logstash, Kibana, and many things. But here everything is integrated in a nice way. And again, it's a powerful and fast. And again, lots of add-ons you get it, which you might not get in other tools. Make sense, guys? So Splunk is an American public multinational corporation based in San Francisco, California. This company produces software for searching, monitoring, analyzing machine-generated big data via web-style interface. Okay, so this product understand that, capture, indexes, correlate, I talked about it, real-time data in the searchable repository, from which it can generate graph, reports, alerts, dashboards, and visualizations. Okay, Splunk makes machine data accessible across an organization by identifying data patterns, providing matrices, diagnosing problems, and providing intelligence for the business operations. Splunk is horizontal technology used for application management, security, and compliance, as well as business and web analytics. And as of early 2016, Splunk had over 10,000 customers. It's a 4 years old data. So they had a 10,000 customer. Now much more than that. So yes, why choose why customer choose Splunk? Because Splunk is fast. Okay, the impact of analysis done by the Splunk on the data is amplify your organization in many ways, and you can scale with the Splunk with each. That's the one thing. Scaling, like it can handle a huge amount of data beyond your imaginations in a less span of time, and then can serve you the purpose. So yes, this is the one. So guys, yes, Splunk is a platform for everything. So Splunk, you can get it on sensor technology, security appliances, SCADAs, networks, database, cloud services, telemetry infrastructure, servers, everything, different sources, and the only one platform, Splunk, which is universal platform for analyzing your data. Okay, so what are the Splunk components? Look at this image very carefully. So these are the components which you can find in the Splunk, and let's start from the top. So how do we interact with the Splunk? So you can interact with the web interface, the one which we are going to use next 3 days. By the way, Splunk can work with a command line also, and there's certain other APIs also it's possible. Okay, so when you communicate through web or CLI or other interface, REST API's call is being generated against the Splunk engine, right? And Splunk engine accepts those inputs, and then it depends on that, it does the rest of the things. So here in the Splunk engine, when you say you have a component for scheduling and alerting, reporting, knowledge base, search, index, which is stored. You have ways to distributed search also, users and access control, data routing, cloning and load balancing also, monitoring files, detect file changes, listen to network ports, run a script, many features which you have in a Splunk engine. So when I say Splunk engine, it has many more. So these are the components which you have. So what are the Splunk workflows? It's very simple. Ingest the logs, index logs, and visualize logs. Ingest logs, index logs, visualize logs. That's all. Very simple workflow. Ingest first at Splunk, store at, see here, ingest log, index log, visualize. Ingest means give the, collect the logs, store index, store index, visualize data, reports, alerts, tables, and all the stuff like that. Okay, so these are the flows of the things. Now what data Splunk can access, so I have discussed a little bit already. So index any data from any sources a Splunk can do, such as computers, network devices, virtual machines, internet devices, communication devices, sensors, databases, logs, configuration, messages, call details, call records, click streams, alerts, matrices, scripts, changes, and tickets. Everything from any sources, any data, any number of data, Splunk can index. So look at this here. Different source of data which is going into the Splunk, and if you look at this, the log file which is coming from the Windows registry, event logs, file system, and many more. Config files also. You see the alerts which come from the different places. Application logs, database logs, networking logs. The source can be any places, but only one platform, which is Splunk. So you can feed the data to Splunk from any sources, any kind of data. Simple. So guys, how does Splunk work? That's the question. Now let me tell you here, third day, I will explain you the architecture of Splunk in a more in-depth, and will cover many other component. But I want you to get started. I want to get started and you start learning about the Splunk. And so for that, we'll make these things very simple right now. So typically, when we see here, there is a forwarders, there is an indexer, and there is a Splunk head, Splunk search head. Look at the arrow. Different forwarder is like a different devices. It can be a Linux boxes, Windows boxes, websites, applications, database, network devices. So you set up the different forwarders at the different places. These are different kind of forwarders also. Now forwarders send the data to the indexer, that we call it a Splunk indexer. Look at the arrow. Now Splunk search head, which is a kind of web interface to do the searches, and okay, so using that you can analyze the data, but that need to access the data. So look at the arrow, it's a reverse way. So search head read the data from the indexer and then get you the results after the analysis and all. So this is the basically at the high level how does Splunk work. Okay, so guys, is that okay? Did you understand the forwarder, indexer, which is stored, and I'll explain everything in detail little bit later, but the high level: indexer, forwarder, and searcher. Search head where you do the searches, indexer where index, store, and collect the data, store the data, and forwarder, which is collecting the data from the different sources and send it to the indexer to store it. Got it?
Yeah, hi Rajesh, this is Satya from Milwauee team. So actually, I
Yeah.
have a doubt here. Like, so the forwarders, after installing the forwarder, only Splunk can read the data, right? So how it work in sensors?
Sensors
So we
also
need to
has a
install.
different there is a different kind of forwarders which we have, which can see, I'll show you here. So different kind of data they will detect from the sensors are nothing but a device, right? A device is nothing but nowadays they are running on the application only, right? So when we look at it, it's called device, but actually it's running with the software. And when it's running with
Oh,
software, must be some operations, so they must be generating some data also. Now we need to locate the data. That's the reason we need to know the sensor behavior, how it works, and how the data is being generated and stuff like that. Got it?
okay. Yeah, good. Thanks.
Okay, so yes, these are the this is the things how does Splunk works. Remember search head, Splunk indexer, forwarders. In today's sessions, all of these components we will have in the same server, by the way. Means we are not going to set up a forwarder and indexer and search it separately. So we're going to have it in one server. Okay, so this is something like a different stage in Splunk. Look at this. There are primarily three different stages in Splunk: data input, data storage, and data searching. So here, if you look at this, input from the forwarder, parsing is done by Splunk, storage is done by Splunk, in the indexing is done in the disk or whatever it is, and then finally you do the searching. Okay, so look at this here. Forwarded through the data input, indexer, in parsing and indexing together is done by indexer, and after that you do the search. Okay, search it. So search. So this is how the Splunk work. Is that clear for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, advanced architecture, not now. We'll cover third day after tomorrow. We'll get into that. Okay, so some of the terminologies we should learn about the Splunk. So what are Splunk apps? So guys, in a simple way, if I say, see, Splunk has given you certain features. Okay, certain feature for certain things to analyze the data. Remember, when I say certain features, that means to analyze the data in an easy way. Now they have given you certain features, but what about if you want more features? You want to extend the features of this platform. And then remember, I said you should opt for the Splunk because it's one of the most powerful community ever we have in this area in this domain. So now Splunk, we have a concept called apps. We call it apps, Splunk apps. and there are thousands of Splunk apps. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Okay, we will install it, not today, maybe probably third day itself. But yes, if you want to extend the functionality of Splunk capabilities, and it can be any features. When I say any, it means any features you want to incorporate in a Splunk, then you have to install the apps, and then you download the apps from splunkbase.com. Okay. Now there are different solutions also Splunk provide. Splunk provide IT service intelligence. Splunk provide enterprise security also, and these are the different kind of apps. Actually, these are the paid software, paid apps, and user behavior analytics. So you are not doing anything but getting these applications installed. With that, with a minimum effort, you can find out security issues or user behavior or service intelligence and many more things. So these are the areas where that Splunk is providing more capabilities. So yep, let's get started with the Splunk terms. Yep, look at this picture very carefully. I would like you to read each and everything, and then I'll explain. And see the arrow sign also. I think I have shown you this one, but this is a much more better way, and in terms of understanding the each and every component in detail and using what technologies they have written this. Look at this here. So we make a request from the Splunk web or API is called command line or whatever it is. Okay. After that, it send the request to the Splunk server. Splunk server mainly divided into the two kind of component, Splunk web and Splunk D. So Splunk D, if you see that, the Splunk D is responsible for data input, processing and index and searches. This component has been written in C++ and so web service. Now, if we talk about the Splunk web, it has a web and application servers for the Splunk D because a web-based application, right? So here Python, it's written in Python, Ajax, CSS, XS and all. Now, if you look at the Splunk D, after the data input and processing, and it does the index and searching also, store the data. So storing the data in the data store, it can be anything like a file system, SANS, NAS, or whatever it is. Okay, it can store the data in the raw compressed format or whatever it is. So it has a, so Splunk D communicate to the data store. Now here, if you look at the Splunk web, you will find multiple modules. Okay, such as that is written in C++ and Python extension. These are modules, are nothing but apps. Okay, the one which I was talking about. So here, on top of that, again on the Splunk web server, you will find the alerting features also, and you will find the data bundles also. Now Splunk D, it can be a distributed indexing and distributed search also, which I am going to set it up for you third day. So that is also possible. And the data sources, which can be a n number of sources, you know that, mounted files, remote files, network files, databases, distributed, and blah blah blah. So like this. Okay, so guys, did you understand these pictures well? Understanding the architecture of Splunk. Everyone? Okay, so guys, some of the terminologies we need to be comfortable with before getting into the demo part. So you should know what is the index time processing. You should know what is the search time processing. You should know what is the event, source type, hosts, indexes, fields, tags, and event types. Okay, so you should know all this stuff. Reports, dashboard, apps, permissions, user role, transaction, forwarder, indexer, search, PVRs, and dashboard. So these are the keywords which you should know before you get started with it. So you understand the world of Splunk well. So guys, what is index time processing? Understand that, look at this image very carefully. Splunk read the data from the source. When I say Splunk, that means forwarder, such as file or port on a host. Classify that source into the source type. Okay, source type, what kind of data it is. Splunk is doing it, not you. You can customize it, but Splunk is doing it. Classify that data, the source, into the source type, and extract. This is called parsing. Okay, extract timestamps and break up the source into the individual events, which can be a single line or multiple lines, and then write each event into the index on disk for later retrieval with the search. So step number 1, step number 2, 3 and 4 is being called. So whatever the time is being spent from the reading till storing, 1 2 3 4, the step number 1 2 3 4 is called index time processing. Guys, did you understand this? So data input, parsing, indexing is called index time processing. Did you understand this?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what is a search time processing? So guys, typically when you do the search, once the data is indexed, you want to apply the searches. So when the searches start, matching index events are retrieved, because in the index you have a multiple event retrieved from a disk, are extracted from the event text, and then event is classified by matching against event type definition such as error and login. The events written from the search can then be powerfully transformed using the Splunk search. When I say transform, means okay, you search something, you get the data, then you manipulate the data and display in some sort of format. When it's a transform, like a table format, or say maybe some dashboard widgets or something like that, you want to transform the data first to make this more useful, that whatever the time has been spent on that is being called search time processing. Okay, so this is called search time processing. Now the question is, what is event? Now look at this here. An event is a single entry of data in the context of log file. See here, this is the event image. You must have logged into that multiple times, system event, right? So that's one of the events. So here you see multiple events are there. Okay, so each rows represent one event, whereas each column has a one field, right? So this is called event. Okay, so look at this. There's a different kind of events. Look at this, events, right side. So here event log, here you have application log. This is the type of events: security, setup, system, and stuff like that. You have it. Now what is the sources and source type? A source is the name of the file, stream, or other input from which a particular event originate. For example, here when it says sources or source type, here is the application is one sources or source type. Security is one sources or source type. Setup is one sources or source type, like this. So here, source is the name of the file, stream, or the input from which the particular events originate. Okay. Now host. Host is basically a device. It can be anything from where the data has been generated. Okay. So host is the name of the physical or virtual device where an event originates. Host provide an easy way to find all data originating from the given device. Okay, so you want to trace that. Okay, this particular log has been generated, but it's okay, for which device? How can you find out? Host. Which type? How can you find out? Source types. What data? Events. Event has multiple logs. Okay. Now what is the next one? Is index. What is an index? So an index is a collection of directories and files. Understand that. Index is a collection of directories and files, and these are located under var live Splunk, wherever you install the Splunk. By default, by the way, you can change the locations. I'll talk about this one later. Index directories are also called bucket. Okay, so index directories are called bucket. That means if you look at the index, you have a multiple bucket. Okay, and these buckets are organized by age. Understand that? So if I tell you in a simple way, index will have a multiple directories and files, and these directories are being called as a bucket, and these buckets is being created as per the age, actually organized by age. Are you getting my points?
Yeah.
So this is called index. So indexes, simple. When you have multiple index, it will become indexes. So yeah, indices. When you add a data to Splunk, indexes process it, breaking the data into the individual event, timestamp them, and then store them in index so that it can later be searched and analyzed. Okay, so by default, every data is being stored in the main index, though you can have your own index as well. Remember, what is index? Index is the collections of files and directories, whereas each files and directories you can say it's a bucket. You can call a bucket, whereas these are being created as per the age, as per the some age like a week or days or whatever. You can set it up also. The Splunk Enterprise Index contain a variety of files. These files fall into the two main category. Okay, so when you store the data in the index, it contains the variety of files, but it has a two main category. One is like a raw data. Okay, that is like a raw data in a compressed form, and the second category of data, which we call it a indexed file, also referred to SIDX files, index that point to the raw data, and also referred to as a TSIDS files plus some metadata files. Okay, so this is the thing. So now TSIDX file, which is basically a pointing to the raw data. Understand that, pointing to the raw data. So the files retained in the directory organized by age, and these are called bucket, which we have discussed. So two types of indexes also there are two types of index which you create: event index, metrics index. So now the question is, what is an event index? So event index imposes a minimal structure and can accommodate any type of data, including metrics data, any type of data. Event index are default index type. That means if you are directly creating any index, so this is the one which you will be creating. But if you want to create a metrics index, you have to create with a special selections. So matrices index are usually use a highly structured format to handle the higher volume and a lower latency demand associated with the matrix data. Putting matrix data into the matrices indexes results in in terms of faster performance and less use of index storage. That's called matrix index. Now, what is called field? So field, I think you will understand much faster. Fields are searchable name and values pairing in the event data. So each event data, if you see the column wise, these are called field. Those as Splunk processes these event at index time and search time, it automatically extract the field. Yes, though you can customize it, you can decide the fields also, but yes, Splunk automatically extract the fields, different fields from the event and index it. So at index time, Splunk extract a small set of default fields for each event, including host, source, and source type. Okay, at the search time, Splunk extracted what can be a wide range of fields from the event data, including user defined pattern as well as obvious field name value key pairs such as user ID is equal to 0. Okay, so this is called fields. Look at this here in this image. This is your machine. Keyword is one field, Date and time, timestamp is another field. Source.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.